Frank, this is an interesting topic that we're into today. There's so much to talk about when it comes to athletes who are like soldiers that go into war at a young age that are essentially bulletproof. They do the things because they don't anticipate ultimately being harmed, being injured. But Frank, what is it that compelled you to get involved in this?
Take someone with a long view, a big war chest, and a lot of heart to step in and step up and represent these guys. Hey, I played football. It was a badge of honor to stick my helmet into somebody's chest.
Sure.
If I got my bell rung and I was out for 30 seconds, I'd get high-fived all the way back to the sidelines and let me sit out a play or let me get back in, and that's how they knew I was tough. You know, these football players, whether they're professional or they're just coming into the league, they are not getting counseled in terms of buying their own disability insurance. You know, Lloyd's of London insured Marilyn Monroe's legs, and, you know, they insure everything, and they insure football players. So I'm trying to educate our professional athletes that there is insurance out there. It's insurance that pays you if you're temporarily unable to play, and if you have a permanent injury that prevents you from coming back and playing at all, it'll pay you a handsome lump sum for a reasonable price. You know, the average life of an NFL player is 3.4 years. If we only had 3.4 years to be able to accumulate a sum, and we think about it and say, we got a college scholarship, good, we didn't have to pay tuition, but we probably didn't graduate because we came out and got drafted, and then we've got 3.4 years to be able to make our life earnings, and that's the difficult part. It happens in an instant. 1 minute, they're the hero. The next minute, they're on the trainer's table. What do? Do you report that hamstring? Do you admit that you got your bell rung and you're a concussion waiting to happen? Of course you don't. You don't report that injury because you've got to make it the team, and you've got to put food on the table and gas in the car, and you got kids at home, and that's where it gets difficult.
The point is, yeah, people will hide it. People will deny it. People will not be truthful, and they'll bring it on themselves. But that said, Frank, when you look around in your profession and you talk about disability insurance for people of varying ilks and kinds, how do you advise those going into, let's say, the NFL, or even those as it now pertains to the NCAA, by the way, Frank, which I want you to touch on, in terms of taking care of themselves and the risks that are inherent?
Start with college, because you're a junior, you're coming out of school early, drafted in the major leagues. You're looking at a signing bonus. If you're number one in the $7-8 million range, you get injured your first game of your senior year or your junior year, and you're a projected first rounder, and you don't go. That costs you $8 million. It costs you endorsements, and it costs you future earnings. So one of the things that I am counseling and consulting and trying to educate the NCAA players, no matter their sport, is if they are a high draft probability, that they go out and either avail themselves of the NCAA program, which is just $5 million. You know, there are a number of players that are ensuring the drop in draft in the event that they get injured or sick. And the same thing with respect to their future earnings. And there's endorsement disability. I mean, some of these guys can knock down $4, $5, $6 million bucks, Peyton, $10 million of endorsements. And if you're not playing, the bulb goes dim on your star status pretty quick. So I'm highly recommending the NCAA Division I guys and women in all the sports that they look at the NCAA. It's relatively inexpensive, and if they're going the other way, the carriers will loan them the money, and once their draft occurs and they get signed, that loan gets paid back, and they can get up to $10 million and they get endorsement coverage, and they get draft drop coverage. And I have a large professional athlete clientele, the golfers, the baseball players, football, WWF wrestlers. So it's the professional athletes that all of us pay money and ticket prices to be able to go watch the very best of the best. And they need help too.